Windex, man. You think they how do you think they took it? Were they excited about that, or do you think was it like Chardonnay and Bridget Jones' Diary, where they're like, oh, we don't want the attention?
No, Windex loves attention.
Turn my mic on. All right. We're back.
What if that's what people did when they're like on a show? They just go, "Turn my mic on, sir."
Turn me on.
Somebody's like, "Okay, wait, I just count you down." Like, no, turn it on.
Welcome to week 6. It is flying.
Oh my gosh, it is flying.
Which does that mean that summer is flying a little bit? No?
It doesn't, because the listeners don't know this, but we're recording these much sooner and much farther away from when they're released, so they'll never know.
That's true. We have an upcoming trip, which I don't know if we've talked about.
Probably not.
My baby sister, I'm going to call her my baby sister. I never call her that.
Sure.
My little
It's
sister.
Degrading and appropriate in this instance.
It just, if you know my sister, it doesn't fit her at all. She's definitely more mature.
She's the most mature out of the three of you.
She presents the oldest. Anyways, she is getting married, and she's getting married in Ireland. So we have a big, long trip over there planned. We're going to be gone for like 2 weeks.
Yep.
And you guys, I just cannot be bothered to do any summers off while we're over there.
It's going to be awesome because we are making it a point. They have all these studio tours that are popping up, right? Like the Harry Potter studio tour. They just popped up with the Game of Thrones one. We are going on the P.S. I Love You studio tour. It's really fun. You get to walk by the rock walls that are half built. You get to pet some of the lambs that were used in the movie. It is exciting. You get to see the bar where she got too drunk and hooks up with her ex-husband's best friend. So many exciting things are coming.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if there was such a thing?
You know there are people out there who are like, there's 3 spots we have to go to because P.S. I Love You was filmed in this moment.
Oh, man.
In this
now
spot.
I'm feeling like a bad, I don't know, tourist or a bad film buff.
It might be there.
To not look that stuff up. Should I look it up?
It's in between the Blarney Stone and the Rock of Cashel. You just got to hit it on the way. We'll look it up.
We've got a car, so I guess we could figure it out.
Oh, yeah. We'll do it. Do you have scenes that you want to reenact?
Oh, the scene where they first meet. They're on like a random road.
Yep.
And that's it, really.
Very cool.
Oh, there's a lake scene where they get stranded on the lake.
Uh-huh.
We could do that.
You know, that movie was movie 3 for this podcast.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I picked that as the 3rd movie I wanted you to watch.
Yeah, that was your first movie. Your first movie
Wait.
you ever did was that. And I think First Wives Club was next.
That was the first movie that I said, this is the movie I need you to see.
I'm kicking off this pod with P.S. I Love You. And to be honest, I liked it.
I know,
I think I gave it like a 62 or something like that.
When you think about where we've come since then, isn't that kind of an odd start?
Is it?
I don't know.
Camp? I don't think I helped it this year.
I don't know.
I actually had a couple friends reach out to me and were like, "Sister of the Traveling Pants." Really? They were dudes.
Oh, because you haven't seen it?
No, just they were dudes that were like, "Why'd you do that movie? Movie's dumb."
Well, you tell me their names and I will speak to them.
I felt justified in my score and reaction to it. I had a friend reach out and who was like, "I hear everything you're saying about those magic pants."
That's great. Oh, hot takes on the magic pants. Check that one out.
Check that episode out. Pretty fun.
Well, okay, so yeah, thinking of where we've been to now where we are, Ty, what did we watch this week?
We went international, just like P.S. I Love You.
Again.
Yep. And Sister of the Traveling Pants. We went somewhat back to a place that they visited in that movie. Because, folks, we went to Greece, but it was in America with the Greek population with My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
There it is. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 2002.
That movie was 2002? I thought it was earlier than that.
No.
I would have guessed like right around 2000 is what I was thinking. What made me think that? My own memory. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing stylistically,
Yeah, I was like,
nothing
that's a
there's
very-
no reference. I thought Joey Fatone was at the height of NSYNC maybe, not in his post trying to be Mark and Rent phase. I thought this was a little bit earlier than that, but this would have been the Dirty Pop album. Right around there.
Could have been.
No, it was.
Oh, okay.
I am a boy band connoisseur. I know when it was.
Are a boy band fiend.
Yeah,
You know
no,
all
actually,
about it.
it was after Dirty Pop. I think Dirty Pop came out in like 01.
Okay. What was the next one? Celebrity?
Who knows? They had another one?
I don't know. I stopped listening to boy bands around this time.
And you started listening to more ska.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that either.
You've mentioned ska twice so far this season. I just want you to know.
Well, here it is a third time.
No way.
No. Well, you had brought it up. So for those of our listeners who maybe have not partaken in this classic,
Mm-hmm.
Ty, you yourself included,
Sure.
tell us a little bit about what in the world did we just watch?
Okay, so My Big Fat Greek Wedding is interesting in that it has a through line of a plot, and the plot is basically gal, overbearing parents, and familial structure, and society, Greek society in general is like very intrusive in your life, and she feels like she doesn't really know who she is, so she's it's about self-discovery, but also finding love. But it's also like a series of these like small vignettes. And here's what I appreciated. The vignettes at least like point in the same direction. They're all evolving the storyline, but it's like, here's a baptism, here is the party, here's like all these like little moments. And so that's why I told Rach, I was like, dude, this movie has so much in it. I need you to kind of like tell me what you want to talk about, because I'm like just in a whirlwind. But anyways, it's about this dude who is not Greek, and him being brought into this Greek world. And so you see this contrast of these two different worlds and how funny it is for him to try to integrate into their society and stuff like that. It's pretty silly.
Can I just say something that I thought was really interesting just now?
Uh-huh.
You said it's about a dude going into the Greek culture.
Oh, well, I did the gal side, though, before.
I suppose.
I started with the gal.
Oh, okay.
And so then
You
I was
did,
like,
you
oh,
did.
now I need to talk about the dude more, because I forgot about the love story for like the first 20 seconds of this synopsis.
That's true. That's
so
true.
nice try.
I just thought that was interesting. I was like, wait a second. Whose story is it? It's not.
No, it's her story. I made that very clear for the first 30 seconds.
All right, her story. So this story was written by Nia Vardalos.
Okay.
Nia Vardalos is the lead in this movie.
Oh, she wrote it?
She is the writer of it. So this started off as a one-woman show.
Uh-huh. Kind of like Fleabag.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yep. Started off as a one-woman show.
Absolutely. So Nia is a veteran of Second City in Chicago.
Yep.
And
Which takes place in Chicago.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
she actually grew up in Winnipeg.
Okay.
So
Canadian.
She's Canadian.
Boo. Get those Canadians out of our industry.
Well, to be
I'm so sick of the Canadians coming down, sneaking over the border, and stealing our jobs.
what I'll say is this was actually filmed in Toronto, but you didn't give me a chance to tell you that.
Oh, yeah, because let's talk about Snowbait. Let's talk about how Toronto stole all the great film jobs from the Twin Cities. Boo, Canadians. But if they want to adopt me, I would totally go.
I know. We might
I would
feel
love it.
differently in the
I would
future.
love Canada.
Especially as things
No
get
doubt.
warmer and warmer here. I feel like, I think a move north is needed at some point.
Yeah, yep,
So, okay, but stay with me as far as she
sure.
is from Canada.
Yep. Winnipeg, same as Chris Jericho.
Yep. Grew up and did some things in Chicago with Second City.
Mm-hmm.
And so then decided to move to LA, and she wrote this one-woman show.
Mm-hmm.
So the one-woman show, it turns out, was sold out for months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising, except if you know the Greek community, she did a
Oh.
lot of like flyers to the churches in town. And so it was
Sure,
all
yep.
like a word of mouth thing. Like that just got around in the Greek community. Like, hey, you got to go see this thing called My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which was what the title of it was.
Yep.
She said she essentially just took her life and her cousins' lives and basically just turned it up to an 11.
Okay.
She just took the stories and just like put them all together.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this, most of this is all from true experiences.
And the Greek community, they were like, oh, that's funny. They weren't like, How dare you?
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
interesting. I will get into a little bit of like the community feedback, but on the whole, because of how it was done,
Mm-hmm.
on the whole, I guess I don't want to speak for all Greeks in general who have seen this, but for the most part, she did not get a lot of backlash for this.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it's because she is Greek and these are her stories, so you can't say, well, this is a stereotype. It's like, well, that's my grandma,
Sure.
and that's what she does. We're laughing because the grandma is this little tiny Greek Orthodox
she's so
woman.
small.
She's like all in black, and she only speaks Greek, and she's a little senile, so she's always like cursing at people, calling them Turkish.
Yeah. And so I was kind of confused by that though. So does she think is that her dad's mom or her mom's mom?
Her dad's mom.
Okay. So when she's calling him a Turk, she doesn't know who she's really even talking to.
I
then.
guess not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was her mom's mom and that she was calling her dad a Turk just because he is from somewhere different.
Yeah.
Or he really was Turkish, but he's still Greek Orthodox.
Yeah. No, I think that just helped to hint just how far gone she is, that she doesn't even know where she is or who she's with.
She has a hilarious moment where she's trying to escape. And so her whole thing is she's always trying to escape the property,
away.
and the neighbors are always bringing her back. And there's one scene where the main character looks out the window, and the sprinklers go off while she's trying to escape, and she goes, "Ah!" and her hands fly up in the air. It's so freaking funny.
Yeah, you laughed extra hard at that.
Yeah, I thought
that
it was
moment,
awesome.
which was great. So while this was a one-woman play in LA, a lot of execs came out to watch it, and there was a lot of interest in it right off the bat. So the couple of things, though, the film execs that came out initially wanted to make it not a Greek family. They wanted to make it, can you guess?
Italian?
Yes, they wanted to make it an Italian family.
Why? What's wrong with Italian? Italiana! That's what your boy Ty is from.
I know.
Sicilian.
You would have enjoyed
I would have
another Italian family
It would have
movie.
felt like going home. Where my family didn't even know they were Italian until I did the ancestry test. It'd feel just the same.
Is it weird to have that ancestry that's now like you tie so much back to, but you never knew that you were that?
Yeah, it is. And in fact, with my first ancestry test, it said I was Italian and Greek. That was like a third of me.
Yeah.
And then I lost the Greek.
Yeah.
And there's like one island Sardinia, which is on the other side of Italy. That's actually a bad example. But and then they found out I'm from southern Italy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just Italian. But I
mean,
don't have any of that cultural reference when I was growing up.
As far as we know right now, but they're always updating ancestry. You might still be Greek.
Yeah, that's true.
It could happen.
It could flip again.
This could be your family's heritage.
Well,
so.
and to be fair, my people conquered their people, so
So it could
might
very
have
well
been
be.
governor of Athens at one point, and then had to come back to Italiana.
There you go. The other piece that film execs pitched to her was that they wanted somebody famous to play that role. So they wanted Marissa Tomei to potentially play the role of Nia. What Tula, I guess,
had
is her
she
character.
done? What did young Marissa Tomei do? Do you know?
No.
Like, can you think
I
of her
don't know.
background this time?
2002, so a lot, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose, but I can't think of anything. I can only think of like older Marissa Tomei.
So again, she wasn't necessarily opposed to these pieces, except for the Italian piece that kind of felt like, well, I'm writing my experience. Like, you want to take these stories and make them Italian, like it changes the story. Like these are Greek words. This is Greek humor. Like
for sure.
I can't write that. That's not my story. So, a little gal named Rita Wilson. Ty, who's Rita Wilson?
Tom Hanks' wife.
Exactly. Who is Greek.
Hey, did you notice how fast I was able to answer that? And I didn't go, oh God. Oh, no. Oh, my.
Are you making fun of me because I get like a brain fart here all the time?
Yeah, but only when I put you on the spot.
Always. But you quiz me so much on here. Do you know that you do that?
Yeah, I like to challenge everybody around me.
I always know it's coming to, and it's like, oh gosh,
no.
she's going to ask me a question. Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson, goes to see the play and loves it and talks to Nia afterwards and says, this needs to be a movie. I thought this was so great. So Nia's super pumped. She's like, oh my gosh, Rita Wilson came to see my show.
How cool would that be?
I know. Well, and she
Your
tells her
one-woman show.
and she tells her friends too about it, and they're all like giving her a hard time, like, yeah, I bet they're gonna come produce it, because she had maybe talked about like wanting to do something like that.
I made fun of friends who talk like that before. I'm like one of the friends. Oh no.
Just like that. Well, one night, Tom Hanks comes to see the show. So, the thing is that because it's a one-woman show, she's kind of in charge of the box office for it, so she knows he's coming that night.
Oh, that's horrifying.
A little bit. But then she can brag to all of her friends, like, hey, Tom Hanks is coming. So now they're just having a great time with it. They're calling her and saying, like, hey, this is Tom Hanks. I want to make you into a movie star. She's like, yeah. They're always
razzing her.
They're always razzing her about it. One day, she gets a phone call from actual Tom Hanks.
And does she still think they're razzing her?
Yeah, she does. At first, she's like, yeah. And he's like, no, it really is. It really is Tom Hanks. Wow. And she just all of a sudden just like starts, she can hear it. She said, all of a sudden, I heard Forrest Gump on the other line. And I thought, oh my gosh, it really is. So they start talking, and Tom Hanks feels very strongly that he wants it to remain Greek, obviously. He also very much wants Nia to play herself in it, since they are her stories. He thought that would add a lot of integrity to the piece.
And he said, we need one name attached to it. And I know just the guy. Joey Fatone. He will be who gets people in the door.
I know, it's like all of these actors, and he gets the and Joey Fatone.
Yeah, I was like, come on. That's anybody else. He does not get the title screen credit. He only gets it into the movie credit. That's ridiculous.
No, he actually came about. So NSYNC and Playtone. Playtone is the production company that Tom Hanks runs.
Oh, okay.
He and NSYNC were kind of in talks of doing something, but it ended up falling through. But essentially, Joey just kind of kept coming back, and he was at the right place at the right time. And the producers for Playtone were like, actually, I have something that we want you to read for. So he did, and he had to brush up his New York to switch it from that to more of a Chicago.
Yep.
Which, I don't know, maybe he was successful, maybe not. It's hard. I don't have a good ear for that.
No, I actually thought he had a weird dialect. I couldn't tell what he was doing. So that's funny because I heard New York, and then I heard this weird, like, Boston kind of like, because it's a little more nasally or whatever. And I heard this weird Boston thing, and I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So I actually thought he was a mess, like dialect-wise. His acting wasn't terrible, but his dialect was a mess.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a better ear for that than I do, for sure. So John Corbett is our main love interest in that.
He looks like Heath Ledger's older brother.
Interesting. I can see
Dark hair,
aspects of that.
Probably taller than Heath.
Yeah.
And then he was older at that time. Yep, he gives him some Heath Ledgerisms.
I know him mostly from Sex and the City. He plays one of the boyfriends in that. He plays Aiden in Sex and the City, for those of you who want to know who we're talking about.
Who does he date?
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, he's SJP's.
He's SJP's main squeeze
okay.
for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's actually in the movies, too. He comes back.
Oh, he's one of the main boyfriends then? Isn't there like two main boyfriends in that show?
For her, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's one of the two?
Mains.
Wow.
I know. So he had already been doing Sex in the City right now, because this is 2002, and that came out earlier than that. So he's kind of attached with that. He was currently, at this time, in Toronto filming the movie Serendipity. Have you seen that?
I have never seen Serendipity. I don't know anything about it, like what it's about or anything.
Do you know who's in it?
I used to. I can't place it right now. You're putting me on the spot all the time.
It's Kate Beckinsale.
Oh,
is the love
Kate
interest.
Beckinsale.
I know.
Huh?
I'm thinking maybe we should do it.
Oh.
And then John Cusack.
Oh. And then, do you know a little bit of the plot? Like, do you know like a 2-sentence plot line?
I mean, the word serendipity, it's all about fate, but fate with a sense of humor. So, like, there's a lot of near misses or close times when they kind of get together, they don't. She ends up writing her phone number in a book, and she's like, if it's meant to be, you'll find it. And then she, like, I don't know, throws the book somewhere, and I won't spoil any more of it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've never seen that movie.
Okay.
No.
I don't remember who John Corbett is in it. So that's not helpful either. But apparently he was in it. I'm guessing he's a boyfriend of some sort, maybe. As the two date other people.
So when you see him in Sex and the City, does he always have that long, goofy hair?
No, he has short hair sometimes.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah.
That goofy-ass hair, it's a very stylistic choice that I question your life choices.
It is long, especially when it starts to, like, come up in the front. Like, it's starting to recede a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's not like it's just shaggy all around. It's, like, almost just long in the back.
And he has straight hair, too. It's honestly what I think my hair would look like if I grew it out. I look kind of goofy like that. Why are you saying You're not defending me? You're not like, no, you look very charming with long hair.
Babe,
you always look charming.
I think you would look beautiful with long hair.
Oh, okay.
So he was actually who Nia had wanted to play that role to start with. She was the number one. But he had scheduling conflicts. And so they had sent him a script, but then his agent was like, timing-wise, it's not going to work for him. He's out of town. There was kind of this miscommunication piece. So he's in Toronto. He's finishing up filming Serendipity, and he walks into a bar, and he's having a conversation with a friend, and they're talking about why he's there, and the friend is asking, like, have you read anything good, or what's next for you? And he's like, gosh, there was this play that I got to read called My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It was so funny. I wanted to be in it so bad. It sounded great. Lo and behold, at that bar, at that moment, is Nia Vardalos and the producer from Playtone.
What?
They're there because they're getting ready to film in Toronto in like 4 days. And
but they've probably already cast that guy.
They had somebody that they thought in mind, but Nia was like, oh, I
so
just don't like him.
They
hadn't pulled the trigger yet.
Oh, okay.
So, but they're all at this hotel, and apparently, I don't remember the name of it, but whatever hotel it is a hotel where a lot of like film stars go when things are getting filmed in Toronto. So, so it's not that crazy that they all bumped into each other there, but it is also crazy a little
Serendipitous.
Serendipitous almost.
Oh, wow.
So they overhear this.
They heard him talk?
Well, she saw him walk in, and she's like, that's John Corbett. They told me that he was gone, that he was out of town. They didn't say in this town, because where is he out of town? Oh, Toronto? Cool, that's where I am.
Yep.
So they go over, and they introduce themselves to him, and they start talking, and he says in 10 minutes, they've essentially offered him the role. They said that this is never done in Hollywood. Normally, you have to say, like, okay, yeah, I crunch some numbers to my agent, and we'll sign some paperwork or whatever. He was like, okay, if I shake your hand right now, I get this role? And they're like, yep, it's yours. We want you for it. And that's how it was. That's how it came to be with John Corbett as the character Ian, her fiance/husband. Yeah.
Very cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's wild.
I know. What are the odds of something like that happening?
I don't know. What are the odds of Demi Moore walking down the hallway and the producer chasing her down to be like, star in my movie?
It's true.
So
there's a little bit of luck with everything, I guess,
100%.
in that sense. This seemed crazy out of the blue.
Yeah, this is very wild.
Yeah. The story, it sounds made up. But I watched interviews and I watched them tell this story. So I know that this is 100% factual unless they lied to me in the interview.
I mean, maybe they lied because it drummed up more interest. I don't know.
It is very interesting.
A couple of liars.
That's very true. That's very possible. All right, so they had the main leads. Then what we ended up doing is just going through actors. They really wanted people to play as close to it as possible, but not everybody in the cast is Greek. There's a lot of people who have Italian heritage that play in it. The mom her name is Lainey Kazan, and she's actually Spanish and Russian Jewish descent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she, in order to really master the Greek accent, she ended up going to a Greek restaurant in town. Spent several nights there. Not like totally method, where someone gets a job and works there for a month.
I don't know if I even consider that method.
No,
I
not
just
at all.
consider that research.
Yeah, she just did some research.
Yep.
But she spoke with the matriarch of the restaurant. She had just had a great energy, and she said, this is kind of who I want to model this mom character after. But she did end up having this woman read all of her lines to her, and then she recorded her reading the lines so that way she could hear the inflection and she could hear that. What do you think of that?
That's called outside-in work.
What's
I mean,
that?
well, the observation, her power of her observation that then informed her own character. So outside of you, you're taking in all this information, and then you're putting it inside to process it and to formulate your character. So that's the kind of work she was doing. The whole, like, I'm going to have you read these lines, and I'm just going to deliver carbon copies back, I think that's a misstep. But here's what I'll say. I thought the mom was good. I enjoyed her. So it's like, yeah, I can say it's a misstep, but at the same time, if I enjoyed her performance, it's like, well, whatever got you there. So I don't know. You lose a little bit of that artistry, but at the same time, it was an effective performance.
I would think that, to me, that makes a lot of sense what she did, because these accents, I think, can just sound so similar to the untrained ear. And
Sure.
unless you have somebody who's like a really great, specifically Greek dialect coach, how else are you going to, like, you just have to immerse yourself in the community. And yeah, I probably would have done something similar. Maybe not all the lines, but I
No.
need to hear some of it.
Here's what I would say. This would be more effective. If you just interviewed her and you had her on cassette for like an hour or half hour, and then you could take some of the things that you heard and apply them to your lines rather than give me an exact line reading of what this could sound like, and now I'm going to replicate it.
Yeah,
That's
a good point.
That's what takes some of the artistry out of it. But I agree with you. Like all her research was all great.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
You're engaged. We never think it could happen for you. Never. Never. Kathy, didn't we say that?
We never think this day will come. Never.
Never. And it came. Oh, is this him?
Yeah, sorry, everyone, this is Ian.
One of my favorite characters in this. Can you guess who one of my favorite ones is? She might have been. Oh, she.
It's
She might have
the
been yours
aunt.
too.
She's so freaking funny.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I was dying. I was dying whenever she was on screen. She had so many funny moments.
Yeah, tell me, give me one of your favorite ones.
Well, I liked it when she goes up to the guy and she goes, "Can I touch your hair?"
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So Andrea Martin is who we're talking about. She plays Aunt Vula. Andrea Martin. So she is a famous actress. She's from Italian heritage. This part was written specifically with her in mind.
Okay.
This is who Nia was like, I love her. She's a Second City alum as well. So she's also like a really big name in the Broadway community. She's got like a couple of Tonys for Pippin and My Favorite Year.
Pippin and My Favorite Year, my two favorite shows.
Well, she's been in a lot
Well,
of
those
other
musicals are trash.
Well,
not Pippin.
whoa,
Pippin's not trash.
whoa,
My
Ty.
Favorite Year is bad.
Well, regardless, she won a Tony for it.
Well,
so
that's good.
you know, put
There's
that-
an Italian character in that. Maybe she played.
I'm sure
opposite of him.
she was that person.
No, that's a dude.
Oh yeah, never mind. I think I know what character she's a very big character actress.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to your spot about the touching the hair thing.
Yes.
So that scene, what happened is she came up to John Corbett and she forgot her line. And she just said, "Let me touch your hair."
That was so funny.
And he just did it. And then it came back to her, and it was just one of the takes that they had. And the director, John Swick, was like, I love that.
Yep.
We're going to keep that in.
That was really funny. She had another moment. Well, she does the spitting thing, right? She's the first one you see spit.
Yeah, I can't remember. So,
I
yeah,
think
it's
so.
definitely
I think she keeps spitting at her, and they're like, "What
spit-
is she doing?" It's
yeah.
like it's her blessing or whatever.
Yeah, you spit to keep the devil away.
Yeah, you split to keep the devil away. And then she had a moment too where they're like, she's like, "I'll make you a big meal." And he's like, "Oh, he's vegetarian." He's like, "Vegetarian? Yeah, he's a vegetarian.
He doesn't eat meat.
He doesn't eat meat. He doesn't eat meat? I'll make you lamb." That was super funny too.
That was one of my favorites.
When you come to my house and I cook for you.
Oh, yeah, that might be a problem.
What's the problem? I'm the best cook in the family, tell him.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Twice.
Okay, then. It's just, yeah. Ian is a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat.
He don't eat no meat.
No, he doesn't eat meat.
What do you mean he don't eat no meat? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I make lamb. Come. Come.
Oh, awesome. So the director of this, Joel Swick, I said John, I meant Joel Swick. Most of his stuff was done like with TV.
Oh, okay.
So episodes, and not necessarily one show, but like, I guess this is something that they do in TV where you come in and you do like 8 episodes, 2 episodes, 1 episode sometimes.
For sure.
His biggest shows were Perfect Strangers.
Okay.
Not super familiar with that one. Do you know that one at all?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Full House.
Never heard of it. Is that one kind of like step by step?
He did some step by step.
Did he really?
Less step by step, but also some as well.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I think any like show that you were watching around this time, he probably had like
Everything?
a little bit in it.
It's Family Matters.
Yes, that's the next
No
one.
way. He did Family Matters?
He did Family Matters.
Dude,
yeah.
he seriously did all the TGIF. Did he do an episode of the dinosaurs?
Oh, I didn't see that one on there.
Oh, bummer. Otherwise,
Dinosaurs.
he was really shooting a high score.
A couple of film pieces. He had a film called Second Sight.
Uh-huh.
Do you know that film at all?
No.
It looked kind of like science fiction-y on the cover. I didn't look into it at
Oh.
all, but I thought maybe Ty would like
You throw
it.
a spaceship or an alien on a cover and Rach thinks I've seen it. Like I'm some sort of nerd boy who's seen every sci-fi out there.
Well, it was like an 80s sci-fi, so yeah, I
Oh,
thought that this
your
is...
chances just went way up.
That's what I thought. I was like, I don't know, maybe Ty knows that film.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of terrible 80s sci-fi movies. You're right.
And then this one, Fat Albert.
Yes.
Do you remember
I
that?
remember Fat Albert.
Do you remember the movie? Fat
Yeah,
Albert?
I do.
With,
I do.
I think it was Keenan Thompson.
Yeah.
re-
I never
revised that role.
I actually never saw the whole thing,
Yeah.
but I just remember when it was coming out.
Are you familiar with what that's based off
Oh
of?
yeah, I knew the cartoon back from the 70s, I think it was.
Probably.
Yeah, I've seen episodes of the cartoon.
Oh. Do you remember what Fat Albert's like signature?
Oh, right? Is that his thing? Is it hey hey hey? Hey hey
That was really good.
hey. Yeah.
You're getting all kinds of bonus points for me now. I'm really impressed. Well done. All right, so some taglines. One tagline. Love is here to stay. So is her family.
Yeah, it's okay. The movie's way too clever to have a tag that's not super clever.
Ooh, I agree with that.
Yeah, it has
th-
too many funny one-liners for that to be the tag.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's something else that was missing there. You're right. That's a little too
too standard.
hallmarky,
Yeah.
and it's like it almost explains it too well. It's like, well,
Mhm.
that's boring.
Yep.
That's a really good point. So filmed in Toronto.
Uh-huh.
One of the great things about the community, they really wanted to make sure that they represented all ages, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how they described it. They we didn't want a boring face. We wanted all interesting faces.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
And this is not a good comp.
Uh-oh.
It reminded me of Meryl Streep and all her gang in Mamma Mia.
What?
It reminded me of the Dancing Queen crew.
Oh!
How they're all like interesting looks or whatever,
For
all
sure.
shapes and sizes, ages, everybody's
Mhm,
different.
That's true.
It reminded me of that conglomeration. But I thought it was done that part wasn't done terribly, but it was a terrible movie, that first Mamma Mia movie. But this was much more enjoyable.
This one, because it was the actual...
This movie scores 2% higher than that original Mamma Mia for me.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
The original Mamma Mia is at a 32%, so I give this one a 34.
are you jumping all the way to your score already?
Maybe.
You better not. And it better be higher than a 34, Ty
Oh, will you be
Hudson.
mad?
Yeah, I'll be a little hurt.
Oh,
Be a
very
little hurt.
curious. Continue.
So the reason that the everyone looks so eclectic is that it's the real Greek community
Mhm.
coming to be extras in it. They've put out a thing to the churches in town and said, hey, do you want to come and be an extra in a movie? Come volunteer. Now they were volunteers, but still everyone just embraced it and loved it and wanted to be a part of it. And also Nia's actual family came into town for it, and they all wanted to be in it too. So they are in the wedding scene. There's several tables that are all of her cousins
Oh, okay.
or aunts or uncles. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I like that. I think that's cool. This whole film reminds me of, gosh, well, I don't know if that's fair. I was going to say it feels lower budget,
Mm-hmm.
like Napoleon Dynamite.
It's an indie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
is an
makes
indie
sense.
film. Yeah,
This
we'll
feels
talk
like
about budget
When
soon.
Napoleon Dynamite came out, it was a
Mhm.
comedy, low budget like this, and kind of
Yes,
exploded. I
very
felt the
much.
same feeling and vibe when I was watching this movie. I was like, I see low budget, I see how it exploded and it became a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to talk about budget yet, but that was a beautiful segue. But just hold that thought on the budget.
Sure,
all
I'll
right?
say the exact same sentence
Will
over
you
again.
promise?
Just point at me, and I'll be like, "This movie feels kind of like." Oh, I don't know if that's fair to say. I'll do the exact same
exactly
thing.
the same thing. Because Nia wrote it, one of the things that she gave to her family as a shout out is that all of her cousins' names are written somewhere in the script.
Oh, okay.
So everybody in her family, their name is in it.
So she has a lot of Nicks in her family? Is that what it is?
What was that bit? He
It
was
like,
like
all...
introducing, her dad is introducing the family to John Corbett's, yeah, it's Et.
Oh, okay.
His parents. And yeah, he's going around and he's saying, "This is Nikolai, Nikki, Nick."
Yeah,
There's
he
like
essentially
8.
says Nick 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Nick, Nicky.
Over here is my brother, Ted, and his wife, Melissa, and their children, Anita, Diane, and Nick. Over here, my brother, Tommy, his wife, Angie, and their children, Anita, Diane, and Nick. And here, my brother, George, his wife, Frida, and their children, Anita, Diane, and Nick. Taki, Sophie, Kari, Nick, and Nikki.
Her father, and this is Nia's actual father in real life, does something that she borrowed and instilled in her current father in the film. He has a really interesting thing that he does.
The whole explaining the root words?
Yes.
Okay.
That is one of them.
Okay.
Yep. That is, yeah.
So
yeah, go ahead.
her dad always says, like, give me a word, and I'll tell you how that word is Greek. And then people will give him words, and you can tell he's, like, really fishing for it. He's like, oh, shoot. That one doesn't really work. But he's like, here, I've got it. And he'll, like, link them together in a very, like, loose way. And he'll be like, see? It's Greek.
And there you go. He also uses something as a cure-all.
Oh, Windex.
Yeah.
Sprays Windex on things?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a true human characteristic.
Yeah. Isn't that random?
Uh-huh.
She said that that was one of her first clues that she needed to write this as a play, because she would like tell people these stories at parties.
And they couldn't believe it, I bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
All these stories, and people were like, you have to write this down. Like, she didn't realize that was weird until she told people about it. And
Sure.
she's like, oh yeah, I guess that is weird.
Mhm.
I should make a movie about that. Windex, man, you think how do you think they took it? Were they excited about that, or do you think was it like Chardonnay and Bridget Jones' Diary, where they're like, oh, we don't want the attention?
No, Windex loves attention. If Windex didn't love attention, they wouldn't make the windows so clean for you to be able to see them. No, Windex likes attention. No doubt in my mind.
They like that. Another fun thing, because the Greek community was so involved in aspects of this film, is there was always food on set. And by
Okay.
food, not only craft services, but different local Greek restaurants would come and they would just bring food for the cast and the crew just to enjoy throughout filming.
So the listeners don't know this, but I'm on day 1 of a 3-day fast right now. So it's really fun to hear you talk about food and to picture the lamb and to picture the gyros.
Yeah,
And to
that's your
picture the falafels. And
favorite
to
Greek
picture,
food.
yep, the Greek salads.
Mhm.
So much food.
All the food.
Yep.
I know. You're crazy, but you're not hallucinating just yet. so-
No, but we gotta get off this food topic.
All right. Hard transition. Let me tell you a little bit more about Nia, and then I want to hear about some scenes that you liked or
Okay.
didn't like too. We'll kind of get into some of the acting bit.
Sure.
So Nia Vardalos, she, like I said before, is an alum of Second City.
Mhm.
She is married to actor Ian Gomez, who she met also in Second City.
Okay.
Ian Gomez is in this movie. Who do you think her real life husband is? He does have lines.
Okay.
That
He has
helps.
lines.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was gonna guess one of the boyfriends, because they bring in a series
Oh,
of boyfriends to try to get her to
that's
date,
right, yeah,
or a
just
series of dudes to try to make
some
boyfriends.
suitors, yep.
Yep. And so I was gonna guess that.
He is
Um,
not a family member
Okay.
of hers, if that helps.
Oh, is it the guy who's best friends with her love interest?
He is the best man.
Who I had mentioned to you. I was like, he's been in things.
Yes, you are 100% correct. That is her husband.
Uh-huh.
That's her husband in real life, Ian.
Yep.
They were married before. This movie is largely based on their experience
Okay,
together. So
okay.
how fun is it that she threw him to be in it as well, and that they get to kind of exchange these stories about this craziness that they went through?
Sure. What's he from?
Yes. So he has done some shows on the Drew Carey Show.
Okay, so he's on the Drew Carey Show.
Drew Carey Show.
Yep.
Felicity. That was kind of the big thing around this time.
I never watched Felicity, but I'm sure I knew him from Drew Carey Show.
Yeah. That's probably. And then the other one is Cougar Town, which I never watched.
I was
but-
big into Cougar Town.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing about
My
Cougar
favorite
Town?
cougar was I don't know.
Very good. Kind of just fun. No, it's not a fun tidbit, but it's an interesting
Mm-hmm.
tidbit about them. So they tried to conceive for 9 years,
Whoa.
both through IVF and surrogacy, and were never successful. But they ended up adopting a 3-year-old daughter named Ilara.
Okay.
So she ended up, after this, in 2013, she wrote a New York Times bestseller called Instant Mom.
Uh-huh.
And now she donates all the proceeds for that to different adoption agencies.
Cool.
So it was just like a really
That's sweet.
little thing. Sadly, in 2017, they divorced after 23 years of marriage.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So my big fat Greek divorce.
Divorce is inevitable. So sad.
I hope it's not inevitable. What the hell does that mean?
Well,
Wait, you listeners, you just heard her. Rach just literally goes, divorce is inevitable.
in Hollywood,
She
it's
said
inevitable.
that on the pod.
Who
So
do
when
you
we get to
know-
season 9, and it's just me on here, I'm like, yeah, so let's talk about the Hello Dolly movie from 1963.
What a sad life.
Michael Crawford. Cinematography done by Joel Klatt.
What I meant to say is, in Hollywood, it feels inevitable. Like, who do you know that's been married for like 23 years in Hollywood?
Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks.
Oh boy, you're gonna throw that in my face.
Adam Sandler and his wife, who we don't know.
Okay, there's two. That's two.
Yeah, there's a few, I bet.
Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Give me some scenes that you want to talk about.
Oh, I thought the baptism was really funny.
Yeah, explain that.
Okay, so he's going to get baptized in the Greek Orthodox Church. And just a little backstory, I probably should have got baptized in the Catholic Church before our wedding because otherwise Rach had to literally mark on the form that she was marrying a heathen or a pagan.
That's
or
true.
It was pagan, I think. Yep.
I don't remember.
It was like old antiquated language. I was like, I think this needs to be updated.
It was a bit jarring.
Can it just be from getting married to somebody who's not baptized? Like,
There's no such thing. Why wouldn't
pagan,
you be?
heathen. So he has to do this baptism, and they baptize him in this kiddie pool. It's pretty funny.
I do like that.
Yep.
And they just dunk him
Yep.
over and over. And he's also like in little swim trunks and stuff. And his godmother is her cousin, and she's like rubbing the oil all on his
all
body.
over his chest. And, yep.
That's a fun one.
It was a good time. I like that scene. I like whenever they say Opa, Opa, Opa.
Yes, a lot of shots of ouzo, which you didn't know what ouzo was.
No idea. This is hard liquor of some sort.
Yeah,
Looks like vodka. It's clear.
I don't think I've ever drank ouzo, but I want to say it's got like a licorice taste to it, which would be also why I would be like, ooh, maybe not.
But you love Jaegers.
I
you
don't.
love Jaeg bombs.
I don't like that either.
Jägermeister. You love the Jägermeister, heißt Kam.
I do not.
Oh, we know you love the Heister Kam.
Other scenes or pieces that you want to talk about?
There's a moment where the main character wants to work at the travel agency that her funny aunt controls. And the mom and the aunt come up with this plan. They're like, here's what we're going to do. Like, you're going to say everything that I want you to say. And so they have this scripted sequence or whatever, and it's really funny and really awkward because the aunt's doing terrible.
Because they're trying to convince the dad that this is his idea
Yep.
of sending Tula, the Nia Fardalas, to work from instead of working at the restaurant, they want her to work at the travel agency.
Yep.
So.
And then the wife and him get in like this big argument later on, and she's like saying all these things to him about like, oh, I'm just your wife. Like, I'm not smart enough, or I don't do this, and like twisting his words. And he's like, oh no. He keeps like getting more and more hurt by it, and she looks really mad. And then she walks out of the room, and she's got her chest really high, and she's like has a smirk on her face as she walks down the hallway. And it's so funny. It's like she totally played him. And I thought about this. So there's this whole thing. Yeah, we got to convince him that he thinks it's his idea. And I was like, Rach does this to me sometimes.
What?
You make me think that it's my idea, even though it's your idea for things. You do this.
What?
Yeah.
Ty, I am shocked by this.
I feel like you're doing it right now.
How could you?
You're making me think that it's not you, which is what you want, but not what I want.
She's got a great quote that says something along the lines of how the man is the head of the house, but the woman, she is the neck, and she can turn that head any way she wants. That was a real life quote from Nia's actual mom.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Also, real life quote is the bit about them being tigers in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. We may be lambs in the kitchen, but we are tigers in the bedroom. And then I threw up.
So I thought that the dad was a dick a lot of the time, like at the very beginning especially. I didn't like his character
Oh, okay.
for like the first third of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a point in time where I thought he was just like, he was overbearing and like also overly acting throughout a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a moment where all of a sudden my whole feeling on him switched. And I started to really enjoy him.
Yeah.
And thinking like he's just this lovable goof, almost like a comedia character. Like he
Okay.
just felt like this overprotective dad who thinks he's super smart, but really he's kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost felt like, I was watching, I think that's what changed for me. I was like, I'm watching like almost a comedia play.
Uh-huh.
And this archetype, I understand now. And now I get this character.
Okay.
And so then I got on board.
If you want, I could go to college and take a few courses.
Why? Why you want to leave me?
I'm not leaving you. Don't you want me to do something with my life?
Oh, yes. Get married, make babies. You look so old.
Do you think that if you went back and rewatched the first half with that in mind, now knowing that dad character?
I think I like him more.
You think you'd like him more?
I do.
Yeah. He's kind of, he's so traditional. So
Yep.
that's like, he has very, very old views of like what women should do. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
but then he'll say things to her like, you look so old.
Yeah.
It's just so he's mean, but like, it's just so funny and
Yep.
sad, but also funny because as she would say, like, yeah, my dad told me that sometimes. He's like, you're starting to look old. You have to get married. No one's going to marry you. You're too old.
There were moments like when they're going to get married and he's an only child. And
Yes.
so there's a huge family on her side
Uh-huh.
and only like a few people on his side.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I worried about for our wedding.
You thought that our wedding would be that lopsided, where
I did.
my side was so big, because I come from a very big family.
Both sides.
Yeah,
Both mom
sides.
and dad's are huge families.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I've got like a lot of people who live far away. So even though my dad's part of a big family, we're not close with a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom's got a small family. So I just thought, we're going to be so lopsided. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the good news. I had too many friends at the time.
There you go. That is good news.
So that helped kind of balance things out.
There's a moment on one of their first dates where they're getting to know each other and talking about family.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, like my 2 cousins. And she's like, you only have 2 cousins? He's like, well, yeah, how many do you have? She's like, more than 2. I thought that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have like probably 40 first cousins and like 50 if we're counting like all the second cousins. So the moment when he goes to meet her family after he's baptized and
Yep.
everybody like comes and like embraces him, like, oh yeah, and welcome to the family.
Yep.
Ah. Did any part of that scene make you triggered at all, coming back to like when maybe you came to one of my family's extended Christmases for
Well,
1 year?
Here's the deal. On one side of the family, the smaller side, your dad's side, I feel like I have pretty intimate relationships with everybody on that side.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if I received that from that side, it felt like I already knew a lot of them and it's smaller in
Yeah,
nature.
it's more gradual.
It's from your mom's side where it's huge and like it's like cousins have babies and those babies have babies and it's just like it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's a wild house.
Yes.
Now but nobody ever treated me like that. It was like Ty and like everybody was all about me. Everybody kind of just like did their own thing and just kind of let me live. And so even though I was overwhelmed, nobody's really approaching me, so I was fine.
So you're okay then.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
yep.
wasn't too overwhelming.
No.
Yeah. Seeing that size of the family and like at the wedding and stuff like that, this really for me hits home in some ways. Granted, I don't have the family or the
the culture
and the culture that's
Yeah.
as I don't know how to say what word it is.
well,
but
different than like what
so different.
our European culture is
Yeah.
that we're like stuck with.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
a bit more. Mine's a bit more milk toast, but
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of people and there's still a lot of personalities.
And we
there.
also don't conform to one culture usually.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it's not like
Yes.
whenever we go to your grandma's house on your dad's side, the Heister camp side, it's not like just German food.
Mhm.
We're having a bunch of bratwurst and,
Ugh,
and stuff like that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
Ugh.
seriously. We would not come over, Grandma Wanda, if you're listening, if all you do is cook bratwurst.
For sure.
But and then I just feel like we're also hodgepodgey, that we don't have this like central ethnicity that we belong to, and so we don't have those experiences.
Is there any part of you that envies that you don't have everything kind of all tied up into one heritage?
That's
or
a
to
tricky
one?
question
Yeah.
because it's a yes and a no.
Mhm.
Yes, it would be cool to be like, this is what I am.
Mhm.
I am Greek.
Yeah.
And that would be really cool because then you feel like you can really hone in on that
Mm-hmm.
culture group. But at the same time, it is kind of fun to be like, well, I'm a lot of things.
Mhm.
And so I can get excited to visit a lot of places.
Yeah.
And I get excited to learn a lot of different histories. And
Mhm.
like, so there is something to having a hodgepodge that is kind of fun. I think you can get too hodgepodgey though. Like, what if you don't have anything that's over like 10%?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be sad?
And then you're just floating.
You're just this random hodgepodge. I don't think that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think I always liked having at least two big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, with the creation of Ancestry.com, that's gotten flushed out a lot more, and I am a lot more other things that I did not know. So I have kind of a conflict of feeling like, well, I kind of grew up thinking I was this, but maybe I'm more Norwegian or more Swedish than I thought, and I don't know anything about latkes, or I didn't even say it right.
Rach was just saying right before the podcast, we were talking about Ireland and some Vikings and stuff like that, and she knows she's from a more Viking descent than I think she ever thought.
Yeah, big time.
And you were like, how could people be excited about this? Like all the terrible things that they did. I was like, I don't know, man. You got to get into it. I was like, think about the cool stuff, like shield maidens, Lady Freya.
You are so into Viking culture right now. It's insane.
Yeah.
You have done nothing but watch any Viking special or
And the funny thing is, I'm not that culture.
No,
and
you're not.
we're not going anywhere near there. And so really, I don't know why this happened.
All right, I am ready to talk a little bit of budget.
Okay.
But before we get into that, are there any? And maybe we can keep talking about specific scenes or moments. Is there anything else that you want to touch on, or do you want it just to come up as we go?
I thought that the whole thing, like, where the brother and Joey Fatone keep saying like they're gonna kill him, but then they keep laughing and joking around. I thought that whole bit lasted too long.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, they're kind of hazing him a little bit.
At first, I thought it was funny, and I thought what was more funny was when they kept telling him to say things, and then he'd say stuff like,
I have 3 testicles.
I have 3 testicles. Yeah. That was more funny to me than like how they just kept being like, we're going to kill you.
I'm going to make it look like an accident. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
I'm not kidding.
Yep.
Yeah. I could see that.
So, but yeah, like I said, it's almost a movie full of bits.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense given her background,
Yeah.
being kind of that right. I mean, they are just a bunch of stories kind of strung, like a bunch of vignettes strung together that are funny, but how can we cram them all into one
And
story?
that's why I gave it a 34%. Because I just thought it was too many vignettes.
Di, we can't talk about that yet.
Oh,
That's
I thought
the
we
last
were there.
thing.
I thought we were there.
People are going to tune out now that they know your score.
No, they'll keep going.
All right, so the budget for this film, I want you to guess.
$5 million.
Exactly.
Whoa! Wowza!
Did you pick up my notes?
No,
Yeah, right.
I didn't. Of course not.
$5 million for the full budget.
Whoa, okay.
So yeah,
I said whoa, but I guessed it.
you did. I know you're whoa. I'm still so in shock by this. So I mean, when you think about that, like this is very much an indie film.
Yep.
With that size of a budget, opening U.S. weekend, it only made $500,000.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had no big names besides Joey Fatone.
Yeah.
And so,
God, Joey Fatone.
so because Joey Fatone was the only big name, I just felt like that probably would have a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels like a movie, kind of like Napoleon Dynamite,
Mm-hmm.
that probably picked up a crazy amount of steam.
Yeah, this never became number one.
Okay.
But this is what you call a sleeper hit.
Yep.
Right, so it kind of grows word of mouth. Again, just like anything in the Greek community, it spreads and spreads, and then everyone goes to see it. I'm going to hold off on telling you how much it was, but it ended up running for 50 weeks.
Whoa.
Typically-
almost a full year?
Yeah,
That's wild.
typically movies run about 12 weeks.
I was just going to guess 12 weeks.
12. You can't just say, yeah, I was just going to guess that
I
and
was
have me
going to guess
believe
that.
you.
Okay, give me another quiz.
All right, Hot Shot.
Yeah.
What is the cumulative worldwide gross for this film?
Worldwide.
Worldwide. To date. How much has this movie made?
To date,
To date.
97 million.
Higher.
112 million.
Higher.
147 million.
300.
What?
300.
What?
$368 million.
And it cost $5 million to make?
This is the most profitable movie ever made.
Oh my gosh.
Ever. It has a rate return on investment of 6,150%.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much money did Nina make off of this?
I mean,
You don't have to
yeah,
know
enough that
answer.
she didn't have to do much. I mean, she wrote it, she starred in it.
Yeah, she had to have a crazy percentage of that of the control.
Yeah, prior to this being the most profitable movie before this was E.T.,
Okay.
which cost $25 million and made $793 million.
Wow, that
Yeah.
movie made $793 million.
I know.
Have you went back and seen E.T. like in recent history?
Not all the way through, but I have, like, within the last 2 years, seen probably 25 minutes of E.T. I don't know which 25, but I saw it.
That's a movie that is like dark and kind of weird,
Mhm.
and like I think it loses a lot of its charm as you get older and like it ages.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I liked it,
Yeah.
but I don't see it anymore. But you know what might have killed it? The Universal Studios ride. When they went back
What
to
are you
the
talking
E.T.'s
about?
planet with the weird flowers and all the weird stuff around.
The E.T. ride at Universal Studios
is
is
cool. I
so
like
fun.
It. I like it.
But there is that moment, where we go back to home planet and it's very trippy.
Very weird.
Like one little room that you go into and the aliens are coming out of flowers, or maybe they are
Yep.
flowers. I was very confused.
I was too.
It's very
Oh,
psychedelic.
No, we looked it up. Spielberg says E.T.'s not an animal; he's a plant.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, what? Okay.
Wait, huh?
That's what I'm saying. That movie's weird, bro.
It is weird.
It did not deserve to make $700 million. That's crazy.
So, not only is this film the most profitable movie made of all time,
Yep.
most profitable in the sense that what you put in, you get out. Not that it hasn't made the most money, if that makes sense.
Yep.
For anyone who's like, no, it's Avatar, whatever.
Get out of here, Avatar. Another lame-o
Listen
movie.
to the words I'm using. But it also was the highest and is the highest grossing rom-com of all time.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Second would be, gosh, I'm going to have you guess. What do you think the second highest grossing rom-com? This is loosely called a rom-com. I don't know how this is a rom-com.
Oh, yeah, because you're making me think like Titanic, like romantic movie. but
No, because you got to have the comedy.
yeah,
It's
so
not-
you do have to have comedy.
Mhm,
Okay. You say loose? What year? Give me a years
Uh,
around a gist.
It's in the 2000s.
Okay.
It's got two big stars.
Mamma Mia won.
No.
Two big stars. Amanda Seyfried and Meryl Streep. Pierce Brosnan and Meryl.
Two big stars that end up getting together after they made this movie, and it was pretty controversial at the time.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Mr. and Mrs.
That
Smith.
movie is just whatever.
I
That's
know.
another what we're just talking about whatever movies right now. Like that's another whatever movie.
That one made $186 million. So that's
Why?
number two.
Why? Who cares? Who cares about stupid Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I
That movie's
don't-
whatever.
I don't disagree. You know what? You're going to be even more upset when you find
You're
out
gonna say number 3?
that number 3 is Hitch.
Oh, What? That is another whatever movie. Now, that movie is somewhat charming,
Is
but
it?
still a whatever movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 4 is Pretty Woman. So that actually would
Love
be like,
Pretty
oh, I
Woman.
would have guessed that maybe. But
Yep.
yeah, otherwise, the other two, super surprising. But then this one, I mean, blowing them out of the water by almost double.
Good. It deserves to blow out those other ones.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love the fact of how cheap this was. I love the fact that we kept the original Greekness of it, and
Yep.
we kept the main gal. I appreciate that versus like getting a Hollywood star who maybe doesn't look Greek. Like Marissa Tomei doesn't look Greek. You
Yeah.
know, even if you make an Italian story, I think like don't go with somebody who is historically pretty. I think
Sure.
that's a part of it too. Is the theme in it is of like finding confidence in your own self and not trying to like always be like the same
Yeah.
blonde
Because
white
what do
girl.
they do to Marissa Tomei? They just like put glasses on her and put her in overalls and like, ew, look at you're getting so old. You need to get married. You're hideous.
Yeah, Nia has a really like I think she looks so cute. She has kind of like a mini makeover partway through, but
Oh, yeah.
when she starts, like she's got these giant glasses on, this comb over almost, and
Yep.
she's like wearing no makeup, and yeah, she is like I'm trying to think. She almost is like in a league of their own. What's the character who is like a really great ball player, but like she can't get close to people because
Yeah.
she's just like,
Yeah,
"Ugh."
I don't remember what her name is, but I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Martha, maybe. Yeah, she kind of gave me Martha vibes
Sure.
to start. And then she has this like little makeover when she puts contacts in and she's beautiful all of a sudden. I don't know why. It shouldn't work, but in this case, it worked. Take those glasses off.
Yeah, it was a decent transformation for sure.
Tula, on my wedding night, my mother, she said to me, Greek woman, we may be lambs in the kitchen, but we are tigers in the bedroom.
Ew. Please let that be the end of your speech.
So there was a sequel to this,
Yeah.
but it didn't come out for quite a while afterwards.
Okay.
And one of the reasons behind this is because when Nia was writing, she wanted to be able to write from a place that she knew. And as you know, as you can see in the end of this, they have a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so the next film, no matter what, she was going to need to be a mom in it. They were going to have to somehow incorporate that story.
Uh-huh.
So she kind of felt like, you know what? I'm not a mom. I'm trying to be a mom, but I'm not. And because of that, I don't really feel like I know enough to write about that.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why it took so long is because it took them like 9 years before they adopted that little girl.
Yep.
So one of the things that they waited for.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that?
Cool.
Well, what do you think about like writing from experience versus like if you had to write for as a dad role, do you think you could write as a dad, or do you think you can't even touch it yet?
I think I could write it, but I think it would offer greater context if I was in it.
Yeah.
But I think I could still write it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
When did the second movie come out?
I didn't write it down. I forgot.
Oh, okay.
It was like 10 plus years after this one.
So like 2011?
Yeah. 2011, 2013, somewhere in there. That feels right.
Sure.
It ended up only making $59 million, so it was not at all a success.
How did it do on Rotten?
Bad.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't pull that up because I don't want to spoil anything. The story in that one is so they have a daughter, and their daughter is probably 15 by
Okay.
the time that the movie comes around. And she is also struggling with being Greek and not wanting to do that, not wanting to fit in with that culture, thinking it's weird. And then one of the other side stories is that the main character's parents, Tula's mom and dad, found out that they actually were never officially married. Something went wrong in the marriage ceremony that it's not official, so they have to get remarried.
Okay.
And so it's like another big fat Greek wedding.
Yeah, that seems like such a stretch.
I know.
That parents
I know.
needing to get married is too much, too
I
silly,
know.
too stupid
Well,
for me.
and maybe that's why it did not do so well.
Yeah.
Now, get this.
What?
They're going to make a third one.
Why? Why can't
I
we
don't
let
know.
sleeping dogs lie?
Because
That's my question.
Did you hear the numbers I just told you?
I did. But doesn't that mean like we just need to let it sit?
Yeah, maybe, but I mean now this was just announced in April of 2021. So it's being filmed
Okay.
as we speak. So
Here's what I would say. You created something that you should be very proud of that had success.
Yeah.
And that should be lauded, that should be celebrated. But then there comes a time where you've got to move on. And not that she hasn't moved on. She's probably doing a ton of other stuff. But I just think when we revisit these projects, when we do remakes, when we do too many sequels, I just think, why?
Yeah.
Just move forward. Don't look back.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, you'll probably be disappointed to know that there was a TV show that came out shortly
What?
after this called My Big Fat Greek Life.
Oh, okay.
And it had everybody in it except for John Corbett, who was actually already signed up for another sitcom at the time called Lucky.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it at all, but it only lasted one season.
Yeah. So everything that they've done post the first one sounds like it has been unsuccessful.
Yeah.
So why do you keep doing it?
Yeah. Quit trying to make lightning
This is
strike
okay.
twice.
Here's a great example. Hangover. What do you think of the first Hangover movie?
It was a good time. I
Yeah,
had
it was a
fun.
really good time. Why do we need 3 of them?
We don't.
Couldn't we just let that story lie?
I
Couldn't we
agree.
just celebrate that they did a great job and we're like, okay, now you're done?
Well, the hard part too with that is it's the exact same story.
Oh, Hangover
know?
2, yeah, only they're in Thailand. It was the
Yeah.
exact same thing. Stupid. Just cut your profits. I was going to say cut your losses, but you had no losses. Cut your profits and move on.
Yeah.
It's great.
I agree. I don't disagree. I agree. The show actually had the opposite effect that the movie had, where the movie was a slow sleeper.
Uh-huh.
This came out blazing as far as like first night premiere.
Oh, like ratings and stuff?
Crazy people. So many people showed up to watch it.
Yep.
And then it just,
Yeah, tanked.
yeah, which is really sad because it's like you reached the masses. Like
Uh-huh.
people were ready for it and wanted it.
Yep.
And so maybe that's why they're still hung up on like trying to like recreate it because people want it so badly.
Yeah, sure. There's a fervor
They're like,
for
there's
it.
something
but...
for it, but we just haven't hit it right again. We
Yep.
haven't told the story well enough again.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Could be. I don't know. All right. Award time.
Okay. Teen Choice Award.
Teen Choice Awards.
For
Actually,
most choice film ever.
I have some legit ones here. I'll have you know.
Golden Globes.
Well, I do have 2 Globes. Yes, we got the nom for Best Comedy.
Sure.
Okay. She also got the nom for Best Actress.
Okay.
Mia did. They were also nominated for a SAG Award for Outstanding Cast.
Okay.
Which is kind of like their Best
Yeah,
Picture
for
for
sure.
a SAG.
Yep.
And then, I thought this one was cool. Best Original Screenplay nom.
Yeah,
Which I thought was great.
that's great.
Because Nia wrote it. So
For
it was
sure.
like, yeah, heck yeah.
I think it deserves that. It's such a witty script. It really is. It's
Yeah.
it's super clever.
Yeah, the stories are just like, you can't make it up. And so don't.
Yep. Sure.
If it's not your life, you can't make it up. What'd you think of the acting?
I thought the acting. So at the very beginning of the movie, the acting was kind of missing for me. Like from Nina, from everybody really. It like for the first quarter of the film, I was like, oh no. I'm not really digging this. And I already didn't like Sisterhood this season. I was like, shoot, I'm just feel like I'm going to be pooping on Rach's movies all season. And then it really improved and tightened up. And I thought that people kind of got into their own. Maybe I also loosened up too. I don't know. But for me, I felt like the script got better as time went along. And so then I think because the lines written themselves were better, then I thought the deliveries were better. I just thought the overall tempo and feeling of the movie just improved about 25% in. And so then I thought it was really good. And I wouldn't really say anybody was that bad. Like, I thought the brother was all right, too. Like, I'm trying to think of random people. The chick who rubs oil all over his chest, who's always playing with her boobies, like, she was good.
The cousin, yeah.
Yep. I mean, we've already talked about the aunt and the mom and the dad. They were all awesome. The grandma was awesome.
Yeah, the
Thought-
older cast is really good in
Yep.
this, I think.
I thought Nina was really good in it. I thought that the Heath Ledger was really good in it.
Heath Ledger's older brother.
Yeah, Stefan Ledger. Yeah, I don't know. In general, I thought the acting was fairly good.
For me, I think it kind of picks up when we know that they are engaged.
Yeah.
And once we start getting into the wedding
Yep.
planning and that, I think, and then the mixing of cultures and the families meeting each other, like one of my favorite scenes is when my favorite character again, Aunt Vula, is introducing herself to his parents, and she starts telling a story about how she had this growth on her neck, and it was her twin. And the parents are like nauseous, and then she's like, "Would you like more food?" Like, it's just like this clash of like oversharing and like, "Yeah, your family now. No, let's drink." Like, it was.
Yeah,
fun.
some of them getting together stuff I thought was kind of a miss. Like her when she's serving him coffee when she first meets him, and she's just like staring off into space.
Oh yeah.
In the cafe, I thought that was like a missed moment. And then when he's pretending to go down steps, and then he goes in the shop or whatever, and she falls down. I just thought it was a little slapsticky and kind of missed the mark.
Yeah, it does get a little slapsticky.
But
at
then
times.
you're right. Once they're together, then it's like the movie really starts cooking. It really does. And, that's a great moment with the ant. You're absolutely correct. That is so funny. Question for you. Okay. When their parents were going to meet, did you ever feel like when our parents were going to meet that you were worried about a similar thing?
Whose parents are whose?
Your parents are his parents.
My
and
parents are
my
his
parents are her parents.
No, because your parents aren't like eccentric and crazy.
My parents are much louder than your parents are.
Well, yes.
Your parents have much more like proper conversations. My parents are very vulgar sometimes. My dad has a tendency to slip up and like say things to people, like put his foot in his mouth kind of stuff. I was like, oh man, I wonder if this is like bringing back some fears from Rach at one point.
I can honestly say that never to that extent.
Oh,
I think if I had any nerves, it was just about the normal nervousness that you have when your parents meet each other, and you hope that it goes well. But never, never like, oh, I hope Ty's hick parents don't like. No, I don't think of them that way at all.
Yeah, no, and to be fair, my parents did a great job.
Your parents are great. They always are great.
Yeah, they are. They're the best.
They are the best.
Mom and Dad, if you're listening, you guys are the best.
All right, are we ready for some Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, critics' consensus. Though it sometimes feels like a television sitcom.
Oh.
Where have we heard that? My Big Fat Greek Wedding is good-hearted, lovable, and delightfully eccentric, with a sharp script and lead performance from Nia Vardalos. 76%
Okay.
from the critics, and audience, 73%.
Oh, okay.
Fell off a little bit.
All right.
But that is your critics' consensus. Some reviews.
Yeah.
The perfect sleepover movie for tweens and moms.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know about for tweens. This feels like for moms.
It's funny because when I saw that quote, I was like, oh yeah, I can't even explain maybe how many times I've seen this with some iteration of my mom or my sisters or my aunt. Like, because it's PG. It's an easy watch. It's not uncomfortable. And it's so funny. Like, we all laugh our asses off at it. So I forgot how many times I've seen this movie. I've probably seen this movie 20 times.
Whoa!
Yeah. It's literally that many. Like, I knew the lines.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't remember that I had seen it that often or that many times. It's honestly about that often.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. This is from our own City Pages in Minneapolis.
Yeah, get a City Pages.
The review says, it's Greek to me. It was not a positive.
Nope,
didn't get
That's
it.
Greek to me.
Well, it's not really for you, I guess. So that's what City Pages. A plus and a negative.
Hey, what is your interactions with the Greek cultures?
Well,
With the Greek cultures, like Spartans and Athenians and folks from Crete?
not extensive. I have been to a Greek Orthodox church before.
Yeah, they're always really pretty.
They're gorgeous. They're so ornate. And back where we're from, in Sioux City, they used to have a kind of like a Greek fest or Greek festival.
Yep.
Which was put on by the churches, and so there'd be a lot of food and like dancing and stuff like that. So I had gone to that maybe once or twice.
Oh, okay.
So that was cool. And then I knew a couple of gals who were Greek at high school, but otherwise it's pretty limited.
We have a ton of Greek food here in Mankato.
We do.
Like, it's crazy how much Greek food we have for this town.
And really good Greek food.
Yeah,
so
super
it's
good.
kind of like this little like Greek oasis.
It's one of those things that whenever we're somewhere else And this has happened multiple times where people are like, "Oh, there's this new Greek place." I'm like, "No, no."
Yeah, I
We
have
have-
great Greek at home.
We have
I'm
like
not going anywhere
5 or
else.
6 Greek places in a 60,000 person town.
Mhm.
I don't need to try your new Greek place. I've got all the Greek I need.
For me, it's almost kind of like having Mexican somewhere else other than Sioux City.
Sure, yeah,
Or South
yep,
Sioux. It's
yep.
like, no, I have that covered.
I have the best Mexican in the world, always around me whenever I go
Fact.
home. So
It is a fact. Yeah, I struggle to find places in the Twin Cities that I like as much as back home as far
Yeah.
as Mexican food. It doesn't hit the same.
sure.
It's not.
Now, what's a Greek thing back where we're from that was super popular? Food. It was food.
Oh,
Which
a
Greek-
Greek thing that was very popular?
Greek food that was super popular back where we're from in Sioux City, Iowa.
Just from there?
Yep, just from there.
Oh, I was going to say euros, but
Nope,
no. Spanakopia?
nope,
Falafel?
nope. Milwaukee Wiener.
Oh, I forget that.
So-
well, you say Greek, so the guys who own it are
Greek. And we used to have a second place. Coney Island was ran by a Greek family too.
That's true. So, okay, maybe you don't know the answer to this,
I
but
won't,
is
but go ahead.
that is that like a traditional like a Greek thing, like a hot dog sense? Because you're right,
No.
the two like largest of hot dog places in town, which had very similar vibes,
Yep.
were predominantly Greek family owned.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Is that a coincidence
I
or is
think
that a
it's
thing?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say coincidence.
Okay.
But could be a thing.
Well,
Don't know.
amazing hot dogs.
So good. Milwaukee Wiener, if you're ever in Sioux City, you've got to go.
Dude, we need to go there next
Phenomenal.
time. We haven't been in a bit.
Why are we talking about food? I'm fasting.
Oh, sorry, babe.
I'm dying.
You brought
My
it.
mouth is salivating. I'm going crazy.
I literally don't know how you're doing this right
Oh
now.
my gosh.
I tried to fast today in like solidarity.
Yeah. Rach, what time did you make it to?
8:30
Rach
a.m.
Rach made it 45 minutes.
I was getting hangry, and so I had to eat the banana because I didn't want to be hangry with with the students.
Yeah, so much for solidarity.
Yeah, I know. And I texted you about it too. I was like, oh, I'm
Yep.
out.
I was like, you're out. What do you mean? You're like, oh, I already ate my banana. I was like, I didn't know you were in, but now I'm mad.
I thought I could at least make it to lunch. I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't even. Hey, tomorrow, try to make it to noon.
Oh gosh.
See if you can make it to noon.
I have to like.
And if you can make it to noon, just know you are facing 3% of what I'm facing for the next 48 hours.
Gosh.
I've got 48 more hours of this.
Miserable.
Okay, continue.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. That's all I got, babe.
Oh, that's it?
You're up.
Okay. All right, well, here we go. Here's my review. I'm glad we talked about hot dogs. This really helps. Those Greeks are crazy. Like a great hot dog joint, you'll walk in not thinking much of what's about to happen. But after a few bites, you'll realize you love hot dogs, you nutcase. What the hell are you thinking? 75%.
Oh, very good.
I like
You're
right
on
right
par.
around where their Ontario stuff is.
Lockstep. Well done. You. It's
This
like you guessed it.
This is tied with Predator and The Crow.
Nice.
And it's above Friday the 13th remake.
Wow.
And below Marley and Me in 27 Dresses.
Okay. Wow. Check that out.
Yep. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, like I said, first 25%, it takes a little while to
Yeah.
get into. I wasn't like totally into it. I honestly, at that point, I was like, oh, this is like a 58%.
Yeah, right.
Just a
Uh-oh.
little bit rotten, you know.
Mhm,
But then it picked up, and I
Mhm.
was like, I was laughing a lot,
Mhm.
and it was my last shebang when we did this 2 nights ago, so I drank a bunch of whiskey during it, and that helped
Sure,
too.
sure, you
It
were
was my last ride.
lubricated for the laughs.
Yep. So
Mhm.
it was super fun.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it.
Does the I don't know how much it's earned, does that like surprise you at all, or is there a part of
Yes.
it they're like how?
I thought it would be a rousing success.
Mhm.
I thought it feels like a $5 million budget movie that made $90 million.
Mhm, yeah,
And it
so
was just
still
like
super
still like
profitable.
whoa, that's exponential.
Yeah,
that's
that's great.
crazy.
Mhm.
But what it was
Mhm.
is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
It's so stratospheric
Mhm.
that it's another reason why I feel like don't mess with it.
Mhm.
Because it's not like, oh, we only had enough money to get us by on a couple projects and now we need to go back to the well again. No, it's like,
Yeah.
no, you made so much. You're good. Go do some other things now. Make some other projects. Explore.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, she has gone and done other movies that she's either written, but just, smaller.
Mm-hmm.
She has a movie called, I think it's called Connie and Carla, and it's with her and Toni Collette. And
Okay.
it's kind of like a reverse of Some Like It Hot. In that one, two guys dress in drag, essentially, so that they can hide from the cops.
Uh-huh.
In this one, two gals dress in drag
Okay.
so that they can also hide their criminals or something. So
Oh,
they're
sure.
like men dressing in as drags show.
Boo.
I don't know. It's supposed to be a musical.
It's offensive both ways.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. That is
Is
a
it
thing now.
really?
You're actually not. That's a thing. That's the
Oh.
industry's arguing about right now is can people cross-dress for comedy? Is that now no longer funny?
Okay.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
a debate that's
We
raging.
probably are coming up to that, aren't we?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if it's like two women
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, it doesn't matter
they're
the
not,
gender.
Yeah, men as women.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I guess it depends on the jokes, too.
It's like, why is that funny?
Mm.
I don't know either.
Circumstances. Crazy
It's
circumstances.
like, hey, Rach, if I'm a guy pretending to be a girl on stage, what do I do?
Well, that's so obvious to me, but the
Okay.
other one's not. But
Oh,
maybe that's
no,
not,
no.
that's wrong.
What about when a girl tries to be a guy? You don't think that's obvious?
Well,
what do
no,
you guys
they're
do?
trying
How
to
do you
be drag queens.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're like trying to be women. Women
oh,
trying
no.
to be women.
I'm talking about when people act like they're opposite gender. All the
Oh,
guys
yeah.
pretend like they have big boobs,
Yes.
and all the girls pretend like they have big junk.
Well, that's it.
And
When
they always scratch their butts and their
Yeah.
groins.
Yeah, I think
And
when
they think it's
that
funny. It's not
simple-
funny. Be better.
When it's that simple, I think that makes sense. That's like not funny. But this is like a double on a
Yeah.
double. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm not gonna defend it because I've never seen it. It's probably garbage. But my point of telling you that was there was also a movie called Life in Ruins.
Okay.
That she wrote and starred in, where she is kind of a travel guide looking for love in Greece,
Mhm.
and she is the only person who's ever gotten the permission of the Greek government to be able to film in the Acropolis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I thought you would think was pretty
That
cool.
is. That's a big deal.
That is a very
That's
big deal.
pretty
At least at
cool.
that time, nobody had filmed there. So yeah,
Sure.
she blames it on all of her Greek school and
Yeah.
all of her fluent Greek. That's why she was able to
Cool.
do that. So
That's awesome.
yeah. For me, I
Mhm.
gave this
Yeah, what do
a
you put?
pretty high score because as I was watching it, it was so reminiscent for me of, nights watching it with my family and just even just the big family feel of it made
Mhm.
me just think of my big family and
Sure.
and the craziness that can ensue when everyone's under one roof. So I gave this a 90%.
Wow.
I gave it. It is right under Killer Clowns and right above My Girl.
Oh, jeez.
It's high
It's in-
for me.
It's in good company.
It's in very
Those
good
are a couple
company.
winners right there.
Yeah, I just again I wouldn't watch this movie 20 times if I didn't really really like it.
Sure.
And it's one of those for me. It really is.
Yep.
I had forgotten it was. I'm so glad we had this opportunity to be reacquainted.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, thumbs up. Would you recommend it to somebody who
Yeah.
hadn't watched it yet?
Yep, I would.
Yeah, I
I
would
would.
too.
Thumbs up.
All right,
it a go.
Ty. What do we have in store for week 7? Where
All
are you
right.
taking us?
So for week 7, what I have planned is to get a bunch of hot dogs just like they have at Milwaukee Wiener. Get a little bit of chili, a little bit of mustard on it, no onions, and to put like the chili. It's weird. It's not like the Hormel chili. It's almost just like ground beef in like kind of like a little stew, and you just throw it on there. The buns are always so soft. I can't believe how soft they are. Not only my mouth is dripping, I feel like saliva is dripping off my chin. And so for week 7, you guys will tune in to me eating 15 hot dogs.
You're so hungry right
I'm
now.
so hungry. I'm starving to death. I forgot the name of my movie, but I remember it now.
Oh, good.
We are going to be watching another 90%er.
Oh, okay.
Super good film, high quality. You are going to love the ride that we are about to go on.
Okay.
We're going back to our Arnold Mania.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned 80s sci-fi. I think it's actually 90s, but that's okay. It's like really early 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to watch a science fiction movie. We're going to space. We're going to Mars.
Ooh, specifically Mars?
I believe that's where they go. We'll have to watch to remember to find out. We're going to see crazy Arnold impersonations. we get to hear that for a long time.
gosh.
There's literally a scene where I want to say it goes on for 5 minutes, and it's him.
I'll time it.
And that is because we are watching the gem of a movie, Total Recall.
Oh. Again, if you ever feel like, hey, I'm gonna pass out, just like
I
blink
don't
twice.
think I'm going to pass out. I think I just might be very boring and not very fun.
No, that's impossible.
Stop.
I can't even see
It
that.
is possible, and it's happening now.